The Friday Sports Riot on SportstownChicago.com.
What's up? This is the Friday Sports Riot. I'm Ryan Hoppy.
And I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
And to call the show, it's not too hard. It's 630-403-5200. That's 630-403-5200. And to tweet at us, it's at HoppyRadio893. And Ryan, what's your Twitter account so people can get involved?
At Ryan Stuppridge.
Stuprich. And
Yes.
on the phone line from Grand Rapids, he is the host of the morning show on Hot 105.3 FM. We have Gravy on the line to talk about the White Sox. What's up, Gravy?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. So right before we get to the Sox, I want to ask you, I got to meet you at last year's morning show boot camp, which is a big radio conference. So I want to ask you real quick, what was your favorite part of the boot camp last August?
I think it's cool because, I grew up in Chicago. I live in Michigan now, so I get to meet people that I listen to on the radio. So it's just like you guys are just starting out. I mean, whenever you meet somebody that you listen to all the time, it's pretty awesome. And to be able to actually learn from those people is pretty amazing.
Now, do you think Adam Dunn is going to have a good year this year, or do you think we could see more of the same from him?
I think it's a contract year, so he may be a little bit more focused, but he's a strikeout batter. So, he's going to get a lot of strikeouts. You're lucky if he's going to bat. I mean, if we got lucky, he'd bat 250, but more than likely he's going to bat 220, somewhere around there.
Right.
But I'm guessing we're not going to be in the mix. I'm guessing this is going to be a 500 team. So if we can get him to pick it up, then maybe we can get something for him in the middle of the season.
And now, how good do you see Chris Sale being this year for the White Sox?
I mean, I think Chris Sale's pretty dynamite. I mean, I think somebody would have probably figured him out by now. I think the way he delivers, today, granted, it's a spring training game and people don't play to their full potential and they work on certain things per game. He threw, 2.2 innings, only gave up one hit.
We were talking about Matt Davidson, and do you think he could be the starting third baseman for the White Sox?
I think that he will probably end up starting in AAA for the simple fact that you already have two third basemen and then a possible backup third baseman in Simeon. I would think that Simeon, if he has a really good spring, would probably go in front of Matt.
And now, how good will Jose Abreu be against Major League pitching?
He had Nintendo numbers where he was at before. He's had I think in one season he had 33 home runs in 66 games. I mean, that's not going to happen in the major leagues. A lot of experts have looked at it, and they expect him to probably hit 273 with probably about 20 home runs. He did very good overseas, but he hits different than other people who have came from where he's at. So it's not really sure if he's going to be like Puig or anything like that.
And now, who are some of the players for the White Sox that you think need to have a good breakout year if this team wants to be any good this year?
I mean, you need the core players. You need Alexei, who had just an awful year last year. His home runs just totally went away. You need him to step up. This has to be Beckham's year. I think if this is not Beckham's year, I don't know if the Sox will continue with him. And I think the same with Visiedo as well. And catching-wise, I don't know. It's a shame that they didn't go out and get a catcher.
Now, if they were going to go out and get a catcher, do you think are there any people that they would be looking for?
I mean, I try to think about who's out there and who has a surplus of catchers. And catchers are really hard to come by. I mean, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to build for the future. So that's why you saw them in on Tanaka. They weren't going to spend the money the Yankees were, but they're willing to spend the money on long-term players. So I thought that they should have went for McCann, but the White Sox are always way behind in the spending money. They used to say that they would never give a pitcher a 5-year deal, and now they realize that that's just the way baseball is. They're going to have to be the same way with a catcher. I mean, because there's not that many great catchers in baseball like you would have as many good shortstops or things like that. So I just think that I don't know who they'd go grab. I like that they're still actively looking for players. Hahn was quoted as saying, that you'll see our guys at all the different baseball games because, we want to find other players. So they're staying active, but they're only going to take good deals that are long term.
Right. And now heading into his last year, Paul Konerko is going to have sort of a more limited role with the White Sox. Are there any expectations that you have for him going into this season?
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play better than he did last year.
Yes, I think so too.
I think it's really cool what the White Sox did by bringing him back, because if you look at the history of the White Sox with great players, it hasn't ended very well. Like Carlton Fisk in '93, I believe it was. They wouldn't even allow him in the locker room during the playoffs to go root on the players, and it ended badly with Frank Thomas. I mean, lucky he's come back into the fold. So that I like that they really showed the respect for Paul Konerko.
And now, how would you break down the Paul Konerko era overall as a White Sox fan?
I just think that he's just a class act. You know what I mean? He's not a show off. He's never was big for going out for curtain calls. I mean, if you look, anytime there's a curtain call, people are chanting Paulie. They have to push him out there in order for him to do that. So I think you look at this guy as a class act, somebody who's a team player who wants the team to do well. And you look at him as a winner. He wasn't always a great first baseman, but a really great hitter, and a guy who could be clutch and get the team back into games.
And now, is there any chance that Paul could make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame, or is that out of question?
I think he's borderline. Yeah. I would like to think. I mean, I'm a diehard White Sox fan. I've been a Sox fan since I was 8 years old. I would like to think that he would be, but if I look at it, I think it's borderline. But I think he's always been good to the media. I think you get a lot of these players who had a bad rap with the media who didn't get voted in. So I think that could help him a little bit, but I'm not really sure if I would definitely say he's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Now, do you think the Tigers are going to be a runaway this year for the AL Central, or do you think the White Sox could compete along with other teams like Kansas City?
I think Kansas City is doing what Kansas City fans have been hoping they would do for years, and they're going out and getting players and getting better. I think probably the year's going to go Kansas City in third, Indians in second, and the Tigers in first, because Tigers went into last season, and what they did not do, they went into last season without a closer. I think they just kind of expected them, with all the power they had, to hit their way through games, and then in the middle of the season, go get a closer. And they didn't go get a closer in the middle of the season. I think that's what cost them. Now they went and got Joe Nathan, who to me is one of the best closers in baseball, but he's older now, but at least they got a solid closer. They don't have fielder hitting behind Cabrera anymore, but you do have Victor Martinez, who will probably hit behind Cabrera, who is a switch hitter, who's a decent, 270 to 285 hitter. But yeah, I expect on paper, no doubt the Tigers should run away with this, but the thing about baseball is it's a long season. You never know what kind of injuries could happen, what kind of funks guys could get in. I mean, look at the White Sox. I don't think anybody expected them to lose 99 games last year.
Right.
And now, before we let you go, Gravy, where can people find you online?
Okay, online, you can check me out on Twitter. It's at Gravy Radio, Gravy. Same with Facebook, facebook.com/Gravy Radio. And then I do mornings on 105.3 Hot FM in Grand Rapids, and you can get that at 105.3hotfm.com. And I also went to school at the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, and to age myself, I graduated from there in 1999.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show, Gravy. We would love to have you on again sometime to talk about the White Sox and baseball.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks, Gravy.
Thank you.
And that was Gravy of Hot 105.3 FM in Grand Rapids on the Gravy and Raechel Morning Show. It was a really good segment.
The Friday Sports Riot on SportsTownChicago.com.